A week ago today, with the help of my Mito, I thought I had definitively proven that you could beat Circuit de la Sarthe in basically anything. But as it was pointed out to me in the comments, you can always go a little bit more crap. The Abarth 595, famously named after the top speed it was intended to hit. Okay, commenter, most certainly isn't me. Here's mine. Marvel in its wondrous glory. Wait, it comes in at a price of $55,000? Its glory's not that wondrous. Now, I previously claimed that in the right conditions, you could probably win this race on a bike. Looking at this car's stats, I think I'd rather take the bike. But okay, this car does have an ace up its sleeve. We can grab a K20 engine out of a Civic and shove it in this car's butt, upping the horsepower to over 500. But alas, there were some unintended side effects. Yep, if only someone could have foreseen that putting that much power into a car from 1970 that has a wheelbase the size of my dog would cause problems. And the truth is, I never really solved all of them. We're just going to have to get by with the best that I could do. Which means that due to the murderous nature of this car, regardless of horsepower, we're not going to be pulling any record laps. What we do need is a plan. And that starts with Fuel Map 6. Because if needed, that'll allow us to run 3 laps. Also, I'm too scared to make it any faster. Next up is our tyre strategy. We're going to start on the racing mediums, which will last us for 2 laps. After which, it really better rain, so that we've got an excuse to switch over to the wets. And we're going to run those for about 2 or 3 laps. If it rains for 3 laps, we'll switch over to racing mediums for the final 2. However, if the rain dries up quicker, we can run 3 laps on the hards. And here's the tune we're going to be running. It's set up specifically for this track. And even then, it's a pile of shit. Honestly, sending the thing to burn for eternity in the fires of hell is far too good for it. Please never touch this. And as usual, we're going to be running the race on hard difficulty. And we're going to have all assists turned off, except for the ABS. So with that, let's see how this little thing got on. Okay, so this car has far more power than the Mito, allowing it to rapidly make ground. But unfortunately, every time we hit the brakes, it's a little bit like playing Russian roulette, as there is no telling where that rear is going to swing to. But as we come towards the end of the corner section, we've already made 2 positions, even if one of them might have something to say about it. Hey now buddy, there is no need to be so competitive. You're in a Ferrari. It's not like you got a chance here anyway. Besides, we're on the straights, and this is the place where the Abarth is really going to shine. The 595 begins to cleave its way through the pack as it makes its way down the straight. But eventually, it's forced to brake and attempt to unload all of that speed it's built up, as it's going to have to enter the chicane, which it does so unstably, barely retaining control. But once those 4 wheels have traction again, we line it up for the exit, minimizing the turning angle so that we can maximize exit speed. Now we got another straight. Time to keep making some progress. And it's not long before we take that Mazda, putting us into 13th position. All we got to do now is defend ourselves from him. So we take a tight line through the next chicane, protecting our position, before moving on to the next straight, only to discover quite a few cars ready to fall victim to the Abarth. And here is a pretty good place to point out one of this car's big weaknesses: braking. Because due to the lack of downforce, increased ballast, and general all-round shittiness of its braking system, we have to start slowing down much earlier than our opponents. Luckily though, this track's got a lot of straights. I wonder how fast this car can go. Can it hit 300 km per hour? The answer to that is most definitely. As pointed out, the problem is getting rid of that speed. As we enter the corner sections of the track, it is much to my surprise that we actually keep pace with the GR4 race cars, following them through the curves. Sure, the thing could spin at any moment, but as long as it doesn't, once that straight section comes around, we're going to be in a good place to begin making some overtakes. And one after another, we start to claim our opponent's positions, moving our way towards the front of the grid. Well, that's something I didn't notice until watching the replay just now. By taking that car We're now on the tail of third place, while only partway through the second lap. This car has more potential than I thought. And while we do catch up, ready to make our move, our eagerness causes us to overshoot the corner, slightly delaying our progress into a podium spot. But with the long straight coming up, I have no doubt that we're going to get there. What I am very worried about is it's the end of the second lap. So where's my rein? This is a big problem, because these tyres aren't going to carry us for another lap. We're going to have to bite the bullet and pit. And as we make our way in, the Suzuki's about to get a lesson on just how early we have to brake, firing us into the pits without any traction. Right crew, stick on another set of mediums and fill the car up with fuel, and then we're going to get back up there and try and make up this lost ground, as we're now back at the rear of the pack. Basically, due to the weather, my entire plan has just gone out the window, and as far as I'm concerned, we've lost this race. But that has the added benefit of putting me in a mood where I just don't care what happens. So we begin to mercilessly throw the car around the corner, driving as recklessly as possible to make up time. And wouldn't you know it, now it begins to rain. So only a lap later, we're making our way back into the pits, while all the way down in 17th place. And it's not a moment too soon either, as the rain robs what little traction this 595 has. Okay crew, now it's time to put on those wet racing tyres. And as timing would have it, just like the Mito, we're going to be the only cars out on the track with these wet tyres. So if we're going to make any moves, it's going to be this lap. And they're going to have to be some pretty good moves, because we're more than a minute behind here. It's a good thing that we're still in the mindset that we don't have a chance, so we continue to throw the car around every corner we come across, trying to pull the maximum potential out of this thing, regardless of the consequences. And either that's increased our performance enough to catch up to everybody, or they're really struggling in the rain. My guess, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. We catch up to a big pack of cars struggling to make their way around the track. I'm indecisive about which line to take, and eventually am forced to wonder why, incurring a penalty in the progress. But I'm honestly not too fazed about it. I mean, at the rate that this 595 is chewing its way through the pack, what's a half a second penalty? And with only 6 more cars to catch before the end of the lap, and those cars also needing to pit, strangely enough, I do believe that we're back in the game. As we continue cutting our way through the grid, I gotta say that I'm quite surprised with these wet tyres. Although the lap times are slower, the reduced traction actually makes this car much easier to control. And heading on to the next long straight, just shy of a podium spot, something strange happens. Third place manages to match our speed, and also seems to have more traction. What wizardry is this? Ah, thank God. All is right with the world again. And just in time to take second. Only to then spot first, heading into the pits. So of course you know what that means. As of this moment, the Abarth is in first place. Right, so it looks like every car has made their way into the pits. This is the perfect opportunity for us to build up a good lead. Well, provided I don't bin it, of course. I floor the 595 through the wet track, and as the lap comes to a close, we're forced to make the difficult decision and pit, even though the track's still wet. The truth is, these wet tyres won't last another lap, so we're gonna have to take the risk and switch back to the dry mediums, and make sure we remember to roll our way out of the pits, as that's still going to be super slippery. You know what? I think I can afford to play it safe. No point in wiping out now. And it was dumb thinking like that, which put me in this situation. The Viper and his friend having rapidly closed the distance, and now right behind us, with still a lap to go. There was no way I was going to hold them off. That was until they pitted, allowing me to rebuild that lead. This time, I'm not going to play it safe. And it's dumb thinking like that, which led to this situation. Right, well, we're just going to chalk that down to a celebratory barrel roll. Because at this point, the 595 is so far ahead that it's a guaranteed victory as we come down and make our way across the finish line, half a minute ahead of second place, reaffirming that you can win this race in basically anything. If you enjoyed the video, why not help out the channel by dropping a like, or even subscribing if you want to see more. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye!